Ask Away Thursday. Let's get rolling. Best practices for productivity. I want to catch up with you here and make sure, you beautiful people, look at that. How's everyone? Happy Easter, everyone. Let's get this thing started. Let's get this party started. Here we go. And expanding out. Click to expand. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Patrick Coffin. Special welcome to newcomers. Remember, it's supposed to be fun. So just going to have people roll in. Maybe we'll have some old timers, some veterans that we haven't seen in a while. Talk about productivity and how to capture the best of the moment. Let me get this quote again from Tennessee Williams. I've mentioned this before, and it's kind of profound. It's the essay that he wrote. He wrote this essay, and it was when A Streetcar Named Desire had been a huge hit, and he wrote an essay in the New York Times on success. Here we go. Let's find it. Yeah, profound meditation on success, because it has to do with so here's an excerpt. It has to do with the brevity of time. So this is a homosexual drug addict who became a Catholic later in life, a kind of a Catholic, I suppose. And on November 30th, 1947, he published an essay in the New York Times called On a Streetcar Named Success. Just going to share with you an excerpt of that. Maybe tilt that toward me. 3 years earlier, he had achieved great fame and acclaim and a lot of money for his play, The Glass Menagerie. And when the essay was published, he was 4 days away from the New York opening of A Streetcar Named Desire, starring, I think, I don't remember who played Blanche Dubois, but Stanley Kowalski was played by Marlon Brando on Broadway and in the film, directed by Elia Kazan. In the essay, he's kind of reflecting on how fleeting it all is. Wealth, fame, success, and so on. So do read the whole thing, but here's an excerpt. And then we'll get rolling. Hello, Marty. Hello, Gina. Hello, Lorraine. Yeah. Okay, thank you. And here it is. That hand was belonging to the Peruvian. Here it is. It's only in his work that an artist, that's you and I, our life is our canvas. It's only in his work that an artist can find reality and satisfaction. For the actual world is less intense than the world of his invention, and consequently, his life, without recourse to violent disorder, does not seem very substantial. The right condition for him is that in which his work is not only convenient but unavoidable. This is an oversimplification. One does not escape that easily from the seductions of an effete way of life. You cannot arbitrarily say to yourself, I will now continue my life as it's been before this thing. Success happened to me. But once you fully apprehend the vacuity of a life without struggle, you are equipped with the basic means of salvation. Once you know this is true, that the heart of man, his body, and his brain are forged in a white-hot furnace for the purpose of conflict, the struggle of creation, and that with the conflict removed, a man is a sword cutting daisies, that not privation but luxury is the wolf at the door, and that the fangs of this wolf are all the little vanities and conceits and laxities that success is heir to. Why then, with this knowledge, you are at least in a position of knowing where danger lies. You know then that the public somebody, capital S, you are when you have a name, unquote, is a fiction created with mirrors, and that the only somebody worth being is the solitary and unseen you that existed from your first breath, and which is the sum of your actions, and so is continually in a state of becoming under your own volition. And knowing these things, you can even survive the catastrophe of success. which, by the way, is also the name of a biography, bad biography, of Frank Capra. It's never too late unless you embrace the bitch goddess, as William James called her, with both arms and find in her smothering caresses exactly what the homesick little boy in you always wanted: absolute protection and utter effortlessness. Security is a kind of death, I think. And it can come to you in a storm of royalty checks beside a kidney-shaped pool in Beverly Hills, or anywhere at all that's removed from the conditions that made you an artist, if that's what you are or were intended to be. Ask anyone who's experienced the kind of success I'm talking about. What good is it? Perhaps to get an honest answer, you will have to give him a shot of truth serum, but the word he'll finally groan is unprintable in genteel publications. Then what is good? The obsessive interest in human affairs, plus a certain amount of compassion and moral conviction, that first made the experience of living something that must be translated into pigment or music or bodily movement or poetry or prose or anything that's dynamic and expressive. And that's what's good for you if you're at all serious in your aims. William Saroyan wrote a great play on this theme, that purity of heart is the one success worth having. Here's the end. In the time of your life, live. That time is short, and it doesn't return again. It's slipping away while I write this, and while you read it. And the monosyllable of the clock is loss, 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 unless you devote your heart to its opposition. That's Tennessee Williams. Vivian Lee, I think you're right there. So let's go back. Hello, Lorraine, Gina, Marty. Hello, Nations. I'm in the car with my family as we... Hey, cool. Hello, fam. What's up? Reaganomics. As we leave Petrified National Park in Arizona and head back to Williams, Arizona. Tomorrow, another hike day in Grand Canyon, half of Bright Angel. So my commenting will be sporadic tonight. That's so cool. Awesome. Hey, Patty Sheehan. How you doing, man? Always get the good news, bad news report from Patty in Ireland. Good to have you, sir. Good evening, everyone. Hello, Joe. Hello, Maria. Hello again, Joe. Carl. Very good. Jessica Tandy played Blanche Dubois in the play in A Streetcar Named Desire. She was the only one from the Broadway cast not in the movie. They chose Vivian Lee as Blanche, who played the role in the London production. Very nice. Jessica Tandy and Hume Cronin, I believe, were both Canadian, if memory serves. Hume Cronin was also in... No, she was British American. Hume Cronin was her longtime husband. He died in 1994 as well. He was born in London, that's correct. He was also in the film directed by Ron Howard, starring Tawny Welch, the daughter of Raquel Welch. What was that movie about the truth serum, or the endless, where everyone stays young? Ron Howard movie. Tawny Welch. Why am I blanking this? Tawny Welch. Wow, she's so pretty. I don't know whatever happened to her. 61. Cocoon! That's it, Cocoon. Jessica Tandy was in Cocoon. And after Pyrite, she was in a movie called Body and Soul, and then Pyrite in 1999, and that was it. She never acted after that. All right, so there it is. Thank you for that. Hello, Gilles. Effete Way of Life, powerful essay. Yeah, that's part of it. Hola, Deacon Patrick. Oh, the whole gang is here. Yeah, Lorraine, thank you. You guys are on it. Tornado. Oh, Brad, tornado watch in Minnesota. 'Tis the season. Wow. Did you hear that a tornado blew through Steubenville last night? It caused $21 million in improvements. All right. Let's talk productivity, best practices, now that the gang's all here. I'm gonna throw things at you. And my number one favorite guy for productivity has got to be Jim Rohn. He's all over the internet. You can look him up on YouTube as well. I love this man. I've learned so much from Jim Rohn. So I want to hear from yours as well, from you and yours, about tools for productivity. Essentialism. My good friend Astrid is going to be jumping in here, I know, because she's in many ways way ahead of me on tools for productivity. Essentialism by Greg McKeown. The disciplined pursuit of less. Here it is. Essentialism, the disciplined pursuit of less. Also, Brian Tracy. Eat that frog. 21 great ways to stop procrastinating and get more done in less time. Here it is. Bunk. I know Astrid loves that one too. Oh, what happened? There it is. Is it called Working? Seth Godin has something. Seth Godin books. Linchpin. He wrote Purple Cow. Are You Indispensable? Yeah, this is a big book that helped me to leave Catholic Answers. It makes you think. Let me show you this too. This is a tool for productivity. What is this, you might ask? This is I don't know what it's called, a book frame, I suppose. What you do is you just rest whatever book you're reading there, and it's harder to do up above ground. But this just sits on your desk. And page by page, you can, and I'm reading it, it's up and it's out. You don't have to keep crushing and ruining the spine or putting a cup of coffee or another book. It's just there. It keeps it open. It works on some magazines, some small newspapers, but all books. As long as the book is not too stubby and fat. And I love it. If you're ever at a restaurant alone, or you've got coffee to eat, to drink, and you've got something to read, rather than, forcing this routine constantly with your hands. No. Bonk. There it is. I got this at Barnes & Noble's, 15 years ago in Calabasas. I think it cost me $6, something like that. So I love it. Therese Paul. Thank you, Therese. Please remember us at Mass. I'm going to be going to the Abbey tonight for a Holy Hour, which I need. So thank you, Therese. Maybe that's a good tip for productivity. Getting to Mass. Getting first things first. Another thing for productivity is your diet. Now, I was talking to Jim Woodward today, Astrid. He mentioned a book that Veronica had mentioned, something about loving fasting. Yeah, loving fasting. Eat that frog. Mark Twain said, if the first thing you have to do, yeah, that's right, I remember that. Every day is eat a frog, then the rest of your day will be a breeze. Lesson, get your most important task done first. That task is your frog. Deacon Patrick, my first woodshop project in the 7th grade was making a book holder. Oh, cool. Was it like one of those kind of frames, similar but wood? Cool. This helps me with productivity, because if I eat anything sugar or something that becomes sugar, I'm a wreck and my productivity drops. So no sugar. Low carbs. Weekly fasting. Works for me. Speaking of Mark Twain, he's so quotable. Oh my gosh, what a genius. Here's some Mark Twain quotes. Always obey your parents when they are present. There's no sadder thing than a young pessimist, except an old optimist. Oh my gosh. Do the right thing. It'll gratify some people and astonish the rest. For those of you who enjoy a cigar, here's one for you. Then we'll move back. Mark Twain quotes. Am I going to be able to find this? Samuel Langhorne Clemens. Yeah, I never smoke to excess. That is, I smoke in moderation. Only one cigar at a time. Oh, that's cool. I make it a rule never to smoke when I'm sleeping. Eating and sleeping are the only activities that should be allowed to interrupt a man's enjoyment of his cigar. Nothing so needs reforming as other people's habits. Perfection. Yes, so tell me about how you increase your productivity. What is there a schedule? Do you guys use? Of course, if you remember, maybe newcomers don't know that I interviewed Ryder Carroll in a past Transform You, the creator of the Bullet Journal. That has helped me with productivity. To Love Fasting, by Adalbert de Vogue, a French Benedictine monk who wanted to recapture the fasting, which was part of the rule, written in the 1980s. Jim Astor was saying that it's like $100 or more on like eBay and stuff. Maureen says, "My frog." Hi, Maureen, by the way. I like your picture. Although if you squint, you look kind of like a pit bull. I don't know. I start confused. My frog is grocery shopping. Get it done early and my day is much more productive. Very nice. Plus you can snack on the healthy food, right, that you buy. Let's go back here. Back into proper. Here we go. I'm going to look that up, To Love Fasting. Back in the days I worked, what helped me was tuning out the world around me with my earphones on and music playing. Yeah, if it's the kind of music that is like Anya or Sissel. There's a wonderful singer from, I think, Norway called Sissel. And James Cameron used to listen to her when he was writing movies. So here's Sissel's music. She does beautiful Christmas songs too. She would remind you of Enya, but it's Sissel. In fact, Sissel's music is the la da 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 da. That's kind of breathy, orchestral, dreamy female voice. That's Sissel in the movie soundtrack. Marty says, what I do when reading a book I will want to take notes for, I will mark the text in the margin. Then I use the app otter.ai and then read aloud the text. The app will put everything to text and then I download to Word. I do that for a whole book and it saves a lot of time. I'm going to look at that, man. Otter.ai. Interesting. Let's find it. Everything hybrid teams need for productive, collaborative meetings. Meet the new Otter. You can try it for free, I guess. All right, thank you. I got that song in my head now. Okay. So you take notes. Use the otter.ai app. There you go. And then read aloud the text. The app will put everything to text and then download to Word. So, Marty, does the Otter.ai app record what you're saying in the margins, right? Are the notes that appear in the margins being captured in a way that you can download it to Word? Or is it I presume it's that and not the whole book itself, since you already have the whole book itself. Let me know. Again, I start confused. Hey, Maureen, no quote. I love dogs. We're good. To Love Fasting is out of print, said Astrid. A few copies left are extremely pricey. I own one, but there's a PDF available online. Yeah. I wonder if it's in Bookfinder. Bookfinder. To Love Fasting. Hope it'll work with the capital O in love by mistake. Come on, eh? Yep, doesn't say. It's not here. Adalbert de Vogue. How about that? See if this... Interesting. Yeah, they're all about St. Benedict, his words, his work, but nothing about that book. So it is hard to find. Wasn't doubting you. I just wanted to see if it was there. Good. So what else? Productivity. There's another book on productivity I wanted to share with you. Ah, yes. Atomic Habits by James Clear. Very interesting. Subscription to Loom, Brad says. Loom, you can record presentations in real time and also transcribes the audio. Great idea on losing with the book. Okay. Loom. You can record presentations in real time. Okay. Like someone's presentation you're watching or presentation you're giving, Brad? Which is it? Marty says, part of the text, example, Ralph Martin's book, it sometimes notes also, Otter will save my reading and also the text of my reading. The free version limits the number of hours of texts per month. Okay. Parts of the text. Good. A great productivity tip is to fast. Thank you, Astrid. My to-do list is demolished with the focus and energy fasting gives. Your body uses your fat stores to fuel your brain. Love it. Yes. Whoops. Beautiful. Atomic Habits. Here's something for you. This is from James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, and I'd love to get him as a Transform You expert. The surprising power of atomic habits. The fate of British cycling changed one day in 2003. The organization, which was the governing body for professional cycling in Great Britain, had recently hired Dave Brailsford as its new performance director. At the time, professional cycling in Great Britain had endured nearly 100 years of mediocrity. Since 1908, British riders had just won a single gold medal at the Olympic Games, and they'd fared even worse in cycling's biggest race, the Tour de France. In 110 years, no British cyclist had ever won the event. In fact, the performance of British riders had been so underwhelming that one of the top bike manufacturers in Europe refused to sell bikes to the team because they were afraid it would hurt sales if other professionals saw the Brits using their gear. Brailsford had been hired to put British cycling on a new trajectory. And what made him different from previous coaches was his relentless commitment to a strategy he referred to as the aggregation of marginal gains. The aggregation of marginal gains, which was the philosophy of searching for for a tiny margin of improvement in everything you do. Brailsford said, the whole principle came from the idea that if you broke down everything you could think of that goes into riding a bike, and then improve it by 1%, you will get a significant increase when you put them all together. Brailsford and his coaches began by making small adjustments you might expect from a professional cycling team. They redesigned the bike seats to make them more comfortable and rubbed alcohol on the tires for a better grip. They asked riders to wear electrically heated overshorts to maintain ideal muscle temperature while riding, and used biofeedback sensors to monitor how each athlete responded to a particular workout. The team tested various fabrics in a wind tunnel and had their outdoor riders switch to indoor racing suits, which proved to be lighter and more aerodynamic. But they didn't stop there. Brailsford and his team continued to find 1% improvements in overlooked and unexpected areas. They tested different types of massage gels to see which one led to the fastest muscle recovery. They hired a surgeon to teach each rider the best way to wash their hands to reduce the chances of catching a cold. They determined the type of pillow and mattress that led to the best night's sleep for each rider. They even painted the inside of the team truck white, which helped them spot little bits of dust that would normally slip by unnoticed, but could degrade the performance of the finely tuned bikes. As these and hundreds of other small improvements accumulated, so imagine your life is that bike, right? The bike rider is your life. The results came faster than anyone could have imagined. Just 5 years after Brailsford took over, the British cycling team dominated the road and track cycling events at the 2008 Olympic Games in Beijing, where they won an astounding 60% of the gold medals available. 4 years later, when the Olympic Games came to London, the Brits raised the bar as they set 9 Olympic records and 7 world records. That same year, Bradley Wiggins became the first British cyclist to win the Tour de France. The next year, his teammate Chris Froome won the race, and he would go on to win again in 2015, and he won in 2016 and in 2017, giving the British team 5 Tour de France victories in 6 years. During the 10-year span from 2007 to 2017, British cyclists won 178 world championships and 66 Olympic or Paralympic gold medals, and captured 5 Tour de France victories in what is widely regarded as the most successful run in cycling history. How does this happen? How does a team of previously ordinary athletes transform into world champions with tiny changes that at first glance would seem to make a modest difference at best? Why do small improvements accumulate into such remarkable results, and how can you replicate this approach in your own life? Brothers and sisters, this is how James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, begins. If that doesn't get you excited, I think you might be dead. Sorry to hear. So that's it. That's it. Atomic Habits. Going to refresh now. Refreshage. Okay, and says Marty, I mentioned remember the Milk app, right? Milk for tasks, daily, tasks, daily, weekly, monthly. There's a free version that's good. I'm gonna write this down because if it's not written down, it doesn't exist. Thought I had this puppy. Here it is. Write this down. I had it maybe written down earlier. Milk app. Throwing that pen out before it doesn't work. Very good. Brad says, I'm not sure you can see the transcription unless it's from your own account. Okay, good. We'll check out Loom as well. Loom. Very strange and disturbing. where would a pen go if it was just here a second ago? So deeply worrying, brothers and sisters. Hold on. All right. Muy bueno. Hey, Colin McKenzie, Jeff Cavins on Matt Fradd. A great long interview, almost 2 hours in. Jeff and Matt talking about Jeff's creative process. Yeah, Jeff's a pretty organized guy, too. Jeff and I go back, oh my gosh, 25, almost 30 years. Jeff's a real Mac nerd, too. Zettelkasten and Obsidian app to capture key points and organize his creative thought. Zettelkasten, I'll have to check that out. Bonk. Personal tool for thinking and writing that creates an interconnected web. Interesting. I'm going to share that with y'all right now. Let's check out the Obsidian app as well. Here it is. A second brain for you forever. Obsidian is a powerful knowledge base and on top of a local folder of plain text markdown files. Here it is. Workflowy. Yeah, my friend Deacon Charlie Echeverry uses Workflowy. Great simple list app that has a desktop app and syncs to the online version account as well. Very nice. I love it. I love it. Let me get this to you guys have any golden examples? Here we go. There is deep work. Yeah, I have the summary version of deep work. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Deep Work by Cal Newport. Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World. Of course, Getting Things Done, The Art of Stress-Free Productivity, which I think is a little bit too long. Essentialism, good, that's there. Zen to Done by Leo Babauta, Babauta, This is, if you want an ultra simple productivity system, look no further. Actually, it should have been farther, since further is degree, but farther is distance. This book is The Art of Tidying Up, but for your workday. Focus on habits and structure, and you'll learn how to become more mindful, at peace with what's on your to-do list, so you can logically and thoughtfully tackle your work. Mindfulness. I know some Catholics freak out when they see mindfulness. They think it means demonic activity. I don't know what the concern is. Maybe I'm wrong. To me, mindful is simply being aware, being intentional. I don't get into mindfulness meditation. No, I'm in the presence of God and His Son, Jesus Christ. That's my prayer. I don't need centering prayer. I don't need to empty my mind. I don't need a Buddhist gong. I just need Jesus, Scripture, preferably adoration of the Blessed Sacrament, and I'm good. So, Free to Focus by Michael Hyatt. Interesting. A Total Productivity System to Achieve More by Doing Less. Productivity Ninja by Graham Alcott. Extreme Productivity, Boost Your Results, Reduce Your Hours by Robert Pozen, by Harvard Business Prof. Principles, Life and Work by Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio I regard as probably a moral monster. He's a massive hedge fund oligarch guy and close friend of Bill Gates. No thank you. Scrum, The Art of Doing Twice the Work in Half the Time by Jeff Sutherland, co-creator of Scrum by also J.J. Sutherland. That looks interesting. You may have heard the term Scrum in the management world. It's based on the rugby formation in which the entire team locks its arms to gain control of the ball. In the business environment, this term and the idea behind it is all about spotting what's wrong with the way we currently do work. The author of this book coined the term and shares his sometimes blunt ideas on how to eliminate it from your workday for maximum productivity. Okay, I'm going to give you these. Some of these I'm going to be reading. Here is from Monday.com, so you're welcome. I love Father Roger. Father Roger Landry is one of my favorite guests to interview back in the day. She says, currently reading Plan of Life by Father Roger Landry about the incorporating daily prayer habits that put God at the center of your day, like the heroic moment of getting up with the alarm, no snooze, and morning offering, etc. Beautiful. Let me see if I can find it. Plan of Life. February 1st, 2018. Habits to help you grow closer to God. Oh, this looks good too. 89 ratings, and 87 of them are 5-star. Someone wrote, I like the way the book made use of analogies, e.g., be concerned with your daily accounting of actions and your moral bottom line like an accountant audits daily receipts and expenses. Tying the morning offering in with the general evening exam was a great suggestion, i.e., offering works, joys, and sufferings to the Lord in the morning, and then reflecting on these at the end of the day. I will now say the morning offering as I make my bed, and at the end of the day, ask myself if I suffered today, how well did I handle it, etc. The chapter on confession motivated me to set aside the first Saturday of the month for Mass and confession. Not an easy thing to do for me, but that's how powerful this workbook is. Maybe Father Roger, maybe he needs a little email from me about coming on. Look at that. It's just gone. Coming on the show. Transform You. So thank you for that, Astrid. Love it. Here's the book. Browsing history. Let's get there. Here we go. Plan of Life. Habits to help you grow closer to God. Hopefully the Benedictus Pope evidence won't scare him off from being associated with yours truly, your friendly neighborhood, radioactive pariah. Thanks, Astrid. Marty says, one thing that I've been doing with my to-do lists is adding the amount of time that it would take to complete uninterrupted. What I have realized is a lot of tasks take 15 to 30 minutes, so when I have times throughout the day where nothing is allocated, I pick something off the list and get it done. So listing the time helps quantify the effort. Oh, that's lovely. Before I linger on something else, let me show you what helped me on the time side, and that is a time timer. Timer. Here we go. This is the one I have. This shows me how long things take for real. Showers, dishwashing, shaving, cleaning, dog duties, all of it. Yep, there it is. Brad says, one tab app/extension is great for creating lists from open tabs on your web browser. Here's a few links that have been discussed. Let's see here. Just going to click on that, Sir Brad. Oh, look at that. That's cool. Check it out. It's got the little what's the word? Oil tubule. Don't know what the word is. That's cool. Thanks, Brad. Wicked. Yeah, if you've ever wondered, how long does it take to do something, the time timer will tell you. And then, of course, you can, if you want to do one of those Pomodoro technique things where you're going 20 minutes or 25 or 30 minutes without interruption, you put that time timer on it, and until you hear that little gentle ding-ding of the bell, which indicates the time is up, you don't have to worry about guessing how long things take because you've already set. All right, I have 30 minutes. I'm just going to go uninterrupted. This thing is killing my productivity, my obsession, my falling into the same addictive rut. You notice everything's blue and white? Everything's blue and white. Blue and white are sexy, resonant, la 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 colors. You might remember Nir Eyal, the guy from a couple years back on Transform You, in his book Indistractable. I'll put that in as well. Indistractable book by Nir Eyal, How to Control Your Attention and Choose Your Life. Also, check out back episodes of Transform You to find out my interview with him. He also did a book called Hooked. Hooked. Come on now. By Nir Eyal. Here we go. How to Build Habit-Forming Products. So he used all the psychobabble of Silicon Valley and then wrote a book on how to not fall into it. Pretty interesting. Those of you who have young people, you might remember one of the very first interviews of the Patrick Coffin Show with Dr. Nicholas Kardaras. It's called Glow Kids, How Screen Addiction is Hijacking Our Kids and How to Break the Trance. Great book. It's a problem. It's a problem for me. It's a problem for adults. It's rooted in FOMO, right? FOMO, fear of missing out. I want to get a reaction. I want to hear it. So awful. Think of the years and years and years we all lived without these unlikely, super powerful computers in our hands. Blows my mind. Alrighty then. Oh, Brad, cool new service has Nir's book as a video book. What? Lit video books? What is that? How to control your attention. So let me just check this out.
With my daughter, we had this activity book of various things that daddies and daughters could do together. There was one question that the book distracted since time and place.
So Brad, tell me, what is a video book? This is Lit Video Books. Is it just him talking, reading the whole thing from various camera angles? I'm fascinated by this. Please let us know, Brad Udbadel. And yes, I want to learn from y'all. Any other task-oriented things that you guys have? Anything prayer-wise? Catholic books on productivity. Catholic Productivity Planner for Men, Holy Family Worship Center. Oh, out of print. Otherwise, I'd share it. And of course, getting rest. Rest. Tools for, tools for better sleep. Sattva.com. 14 things you can do right now to sleep better tonight. Here you go. Yeah, so get some morning light when you wake up, make your bed, get some exercise. Stop caffeine at lunchtime. Have dinner at least 3 hours prior to bedtime. That's true. Write down a to-do list, even a not to worry about list, late in the afternoon or in the early evening. This will help clear your mind and reduce worries that often have a way of creeping up. Do something relaxing close into bedtime, like reading, knitting, coloring, journaling, jigsaw puzzle. Avoid nightcaps. While an alcoholic drink can help you fall asleep, it will result in fragmented, poor quality sleep. Yeah, I've slept way better after I completely quit drinking, and by God's grace, I've never missed it. very good move for me. Spritz lavender on your pillowcase. Other relaxing options include vanilla, jasmine, chamomile, sandalwood, clary sage, and rose. Take a warm bath or shower before bed. This decreases your core body temperature and you cool off from either and will help you fall asleep. Jot down 3 good things, blah, blah, blah. So I'll give you this. I also heard of a guy called Dr. Andrew Huberman. He's a Stanford guy. Okay, so mostly video animations, but also stock or stage video. Okay, thank you. Interesting. Thanks, Brad. I'm going to check this out. Lorraine, I have a cheapo track phone. I only use it when I'm going in case I need to call someone. That's it. I don't text or go online with it at all. Fantastic. Let's hear it for Lorraine. Awesomeness. Let me show you Andrew Huberman. Huberman Lab podcast. Improve your memory, control aggression and anger, nutrients and brain health, optimize your hormones using light for health, heat and sauna for health, ice bath and cold benefits, building strength and stamina, sugar and your brain, gut and brain health, improve your gut health, salt for brain and body, hypnosis for pain and anxiety, love, attachment, desire, love, and attachment, power of play. Andrew Huberman. Someone sent me one that he did on strategies for choosing psychological states that are maximum to you. Huberman, Jocko, if you guys never heard of Jocko Willink, former SEAL team leader. Influence and ownership over your physiological and psychological well-being. So you got to start in about an hour in. He just gets, there's a lot of, I have no interest in this, the skateboard lifestyle, and Andrew Huberman comes out of that. It's totally boring to me. But this is a very interesting thing on breathing and stress and all that. All right. Okay, Marty, a general tip for people to use Microsoft Office like Word and Excel: go out to YouTube and search for new features in whatever versions you have. What I noticed as an IT professional is most people stay at the level of understanding when they first learn the software, which can mean they are doing techniques that are 10 years old and slower. Good tip. So go to new features. Wonderful. Yvette Weilacher, it was so good to see you at the taping. Love to hear your input. How did you like the live event? Would you like me to do more shows in front of crowds? I love it. It just brings back my live broadcast days. I think it makes for a much better exchange. It's just more exciting to have people there and audience interaction, etc. There it is. Good to see you. Yvette says, I've gone back to going out in the back patio and opening the iBreviary app to the Liturgy of the Hours morning prayers on your advice some time ago. Such a peaceful way to start the day. Yeah, I did that for a long time. I found that particular iBreviary a little bit buggy, but wonderful. And I just ignored the gay prayers at the end of the Psalms. So good. An Opus Dei priest told me about that, and wonderful. Keep it up, Yvette. So Astrid, my best tip though, the hour of power recommended by Bishop Sheen. The more time I spend in front of the Blessed Sacrament, the happier I am, the better my day goes. Sorry, was that anti-Italian racism? I said day goes. Doesn't seem right. I was rereading at my friend Pat Reedy's house last night, Sheen's book, Peace of Soul. Great. Oh yeah, okay, good, Yvette, good. Thanks, Brad. You gotta at least come out for a visit, Brad. I liked seeing you live back when. Yeah, thanks, Ann. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, the feedback for the Altman interview is really sky high because he just lights up. Because he is lit up, he lights up a crowd. I was like, I was like Mel Gibson in Braveheart, sitting next to Father Jim Altman, a man who's just so given over to our Lord Jesus Christ and his church and his truth, come what may. I've learned a lot from that guy, and he's such a here's the way I put it. To Tyrants, he's a tiger. To children, he's a lamb. It's a good comment, a good combo. So thank you kindly. Let me refresh again here. Yippers. Yeah, it's the full version is inside here. You know which buttons to push. Yeah, by the way, we didn't rehearse any of it. He had no idea where I was going, why, what was going to come next. And there was some good questions from the audience too. Yvette says, I watched the Altman interview video in its entirety and picked up some more nuggets. They were coming rapid fire. You weren't too bad either. Thank you. Yeah, we play well off each other. We've kept in touch, and he's going to be a good friend to me, I think, going forward. He's very he's just close to Christ and full of his peace, and has great insights into the cross. In fact, I'll get it another time. I'll do it next week. Remind me next week. He shared with me his talk notes that he kind of cobbled together for a conference that he did last weekend in San Diego, the one we got to piggyback on top of. So this is a quote from St. Francis de Sales on the cross. Maybe I can find it. St. Francis de Sales, who's also the patron saint of shopping. Francis de Sales. Okay, let's find him. Providence, God, Doctor of the Church. Can we find it? That sent me to the wrong place. My past no longer concerns me. It belongs to divine mercy. My future does not yet concern me. It belongs to divine providence. What concerns me and what challenges me is today, which belongs to God's grace and to the devotion of my heart and my goodwill. Makes sense? Here's another one. If I can find this. This is Father shared this with me as well. The everlasting God has in his wisdom foreseen from eternity the cross that he now presents to you as a gift from his inmost heart. This cross he now sends you. He's considered with his all-knowing eyes, understood with his divine mind, tested with his wise justice, warmed with loving arms, and weighed with his own hands to see that it be not 1 inch too large and not 1 ounce too heavy for you. He's blessed it with his holy name, anointed it with his consolation, taken one last glance at you and your courage, and then sent it to you from heaven, a special greeting from God to you, an alms of the all-merciful love of God. Here's some more. Do not look forward in fear to the changes in life. Rather, look to them with full hope that as they arise, God, in whose very own you are, will lead you safely through all things. And when you cannot stand it, God will carry you in his arms. Don't fear I'll just end here. Don't fear what may happen tomorrow. The same understanding Father who cares for you today will take care of you then and every day. I'll cut and paste this. Chunky chunk. Here we go. Carl says it sounds like Father Altman should write a book or two. Yeah, he has co-written one. It's in the show notes, by the way, with Father Richard Heilman and Father William something. Fawcett? No. Coleman? No. Anyway, he does have one. Actually, you enlightened us on some very important things that night, much like Kieran Askaway. Thank you for your insights. Thank you, Yvette. Thank you. I'm continually shocked at the things that sometimes pour out of my mouth or fingertips as I type. I don't have a lot to do with it, but I thank you. Lorraine, he's working on a couple from what he said in other interviews I've seen. Got to keep an eye out for those. Yes. Brad says they're running radio ads here in the Twin Cities market for this conference and mentioned Father Altman as one of the presenters. Catholic radio ads? What? Are you serious, Brad? Oh, that's great. Yeah, there he is. Thanks. Click on that, guys, if you want to find out more about the coalition of, this is in Beloit or Beloit, Wisconsin. Look at that room full of hungry Catholics. Finding Hope in the Desert. Father James Altman, Michael Hitchborn, David L. Gray. I know Dave's a good friend. Alex Chagul. He's the partner of Taylor Marshall that Taylor pretended not to remember that he paid for the Pachamama mission. Dr. Peter Kwasniewski, whom I've interviewed a bunch of times. My good buddy Jesse Romero. Janet Smith, wonderful. Stella Moore, I don't know who that is. She's at Loyola University senior social media coordinator for the Coalition of Catholic. Oh, she's from Loyola? That's like amazing. She stuck up for students on the COVID vaccine. Elizabeth Yor, my good buddy Liz Yor, founder of Your Children. Tom Oglesby, I don't know. Father John Lovell, I don't really know. I know he's the co-founder, I think. Raymond D'Souza is a guy from Australia, I think. Wow, this is great. Friday conference attended. They're expecting 600 to 800. Oh, great. Fantastic. Okay, so News Talk Secular, cool. Marty, what's the status of the Reset movie? I'll tell you what it is. The head cheese of True News, Richard Wiles, a.k.a. Rick Wiles, fired my directors, Matt Scow and Nick Stumphauser, and is now trying to sue them for copyright breach. Their crime, so stupid, their crime was to promote the film, and they actually copywritten, got the copyright of The Greatest Reset, so they could start a podcast, which would be a permanent home for issues surrounding The Greatest Reset movie. So they are now fighting a legal battle with Rick Wiles, who wants to change the terms to monetize it, even though many of his donors were promised a free movie. I did not make a dime and would not make a dime on this movie. I set up all the interviews. I drove to some of the interviews. I set them up. I got them Bobby Kennedy Jr. and G. Edward Griffin and Dr. Judy Mikovits and Peter Bregan, Peter McCullough, David L. Gray, Tim Gordon. And now it's in development hell because Rick Wiles wants to change it to a for-profit and get his hands on it. He didn't raise a dime of his own money. He didn't lift a finger to make this thing. So I don't know what to tell you. We're working with attorneys to work this out. So more of that to come. I'm very unhappy about this, obviously. It took 14 months to get it to where it is now. Super frustrating, but that is the news. The news on that. All right. Tuesday, I'm going to be talking with you, Michael Jones, on usury and capitalism, and possibly on cryptocurrency with E. Michael Jones. I'm looking at all this one tab stuff. A lot of great links in this week's Ask Away, guys. I'd love to hear from Deacon Patrick Lapere. Deacon Patrick, if you're still there, love to know what your surgical / diaconal tips might be for productivity. All right, do one more little go around here. Now, there's a book I'd like to get eventually. It's called The 80-20 Principle by Richard Koch, K-O-C-H, possibly Koch, I'm not sure. The Secret to Achieving More with Less. It's the third edition here, The 80-20 Principle. This is the one that Perry Marshall adapted for his book called 80-20 Sales and Marketing. How anyone can be more effective with less effort by learning how to identify and leverage the 80-20 principle, the well-known unpublicized secret that 80% of all our efforts in business and in life stem from a mere 20% of our efforts. That was a weird sentence. I'm not going to revisit it. The 80-20 principle is one of the great secrets of highly effective people and organizations. Did you know that, for example, that 20% of customers account for 80% of revenues? That 20% of our time accounts for 80% of the work we accomplish? The 80-20 principle shows how we can achieve much more with much less effort, time, and resources, simply by identifying and focusing our efforts on the 20% that really counts. Although the 80-20 principle has long influenced today's business world, author Richard Koch reveals how the principle works and shows how we can use it in a systematic and practical way to vastly increase our effectiveness and improve our careers and our companies. The unspoken corollary to the 80-20 principle is that little of what we spend our time on actually counts. But by concentrating on those things that do, we can unlock the enormous potential of the magic 20%. And transform our effectiveness in our jobs, our careers, our business, and our lives. So, here it is. Bunk, kitty bunk, bunk. Gonna refresh one more time before we bid adieu. Adieu to you and you and you. All right, so people, thank you. Thank you once again to Lorraine and Brad and Marty and Yvette, Astrid, Gina, Anne, Lorraine, Gilles, Carl, Deacon Patrick, and Deacon Patrick Lapere. Thanks for everything. This is a lot of links got downloaded today, and I'm going to be reinvestigating much of it, and I hope you do likewise. And enjoy E. Michael Jones on Tuesday and the Coffin Report, especially the weird UFO stuff. Peace out. Be a saint.